Hey, hi everyone, this is Kevin here. I'm going to do a series of tutorials starting with this, the first one to share with you guys how to go about using this cloud-based accounting system called Wave, which I myself use. All right, Daryl also uses for some of our companies. It's a free. There's actually a paid version if you actually choose to take in credit card payments, but for most part of it, if you are a service-based business, a one-man show or two-man operation with who needs a simple system to actually record your in and outs, I think this is a good system to consider. Generally, most of our businesses we either use Wave Financial or we use Zero. Of course, Zero is a more holistic system. We'll probably do another series on that, but today I'm just going to get started with Wave. Just want to share you in this first video how to go about getting started and how should you set up your accounts, right? We're going to be doing a lot more videos like this, and so if you are interested in a particular topic, then you can always leave a comment below in the video so that we know what are the things that you guys are interested in. We'll try to cover that as well. Right, so I'm going to start on this main page of Google. So it's very simple, Wave, W-A-V-E. So you just have to type in Wave accounting and it should appear on the first the results. So that's the one, waveapps.com. Just go ahead and click on it. Right, you can actually spend some time reading through, which I will skip for now. Let's just sign up for free. Right, there's two ways to sign up. Either you just create an account with an email, or you can just sign up with Google. For me, I prefer to sign up with Google. I find that it's the easier way to do so. So wherever you go, you can just link up with your Google account. Right, so I have a few that I have here, so I will just probably just log into my existing one. Okay, so I'm in. Right, so usually when you are starting on a blank slate, right, the first thing that you notice on the top left hand corner where my mouse pointer is you have this personal. So if you click on it and then if you are managing like a few companies, you will find the entire list of companies that you are managing here. You could be an admin, you could just be an editor. I'll go through it later. Right, let's just create a brand new business and walk you through the entire step from point zero. So just go ahead, click on create a new business. All right. Okay, so these are basic information. Company name. Let's just do a haha private limited. Type of business. You can choose the one that fits the nature of your business the closest. Well, the difference is there's a bit of customization in terms of the chart of accounts when you choose different things. Um, so if you choose like maybe say uh, wholesale resellers, then you probably have like more options in your inventories. If you go for financial services, then you'll be a bit more options under the services part. But nevertheless, it can be changed and customized later on. But you should probably try to choose one that fits your description the most so that you get started properly. Whereby if you do not know what to choose, then choose either of these. General, I make or sell a product, or general, I provide a service. So I'm going to go with this general, I provide a service. Right, and then there's a bit of dive down. Maybe I'll just go with I don't know, like customer service support, other service-based business. Right, country, choose the one that's relevant to you. Business currency, right? Yeah, so just choose the main currency that you're dealing with, because this will affect how the financial report will turn out later on. The good thing about Wave is you can actually do multi currencies. So let's say you have two different bank accounts, euro and Sing dollars. That's fine also, but just choose the currency that you mainly deal with, or the currency that you want to report your accounts in. So for me, I'm based in Singapore, so I'll go with Singapore dollars. Type of organization, sole proprietorship, so you're basically a one-man show. Partnership, most law firms are in partnerships, or the most common one would be a private limited in Singapore, which is a corporation. So I'm gonna go with that. All right, and I can click save. Okay, so there you have it. Right, so you have the Haha private limited created. So you are the owner, right? Let's just go into settings. Okay, over here, probably there are two things that are important that you should get started on straight away. Number one is to edit the people who will have access to this account. So, for example, I've created this account. I'm the owner. If I have a business partner, I can add him in as a admin. Or if I have a staff whom I am tasking her with the job of maybe updating receipts, expenses, but you do not want her to have the full access to the entire accounts, then you should probably add her in as an editor. Okay. Payroll manager, in a way, it may not apply to my situation, right? Because for Wave, right, the payroll functionality is kind of limited for Singapore context, which is one of the limitations of this software. If you're watching this, whether you're from Hong Kong or Singapore, right? For them, they only have payroll that is done up for the US and Canadian system. So I'll skip this. Or perhaps you need to show some silent partners who just want to check on the accounts every now and then you have a viewer. So for most of the part, is either you add the other person in as an admin or editor. And let's say if I were to just click on it, you will see here that it shows what access they have, right? They have full access to accounting, but they do not have access to the banking details. So that's the editor. Put in the name, the email, the position, right? The role that you're going to give them. Do you want to allow them to send invoice on your behalf? All right. Or do you want them to manage payroll, and then just go ahead and click invite user. They will receive an email. Once they accept, they will be able to create their own sign in, and they will be able to come inside here to play around with their accounts, right? So that's the first part, right? If you do not have anybody else, then you can skip this. Okay, the next thing that I think is important is this thing called the invoice customization. Right. Invoice customization. So the title, straightforward. You For us, for me, let's just use myself as an example. For the companies that I am using Wave apps for, I do use the very same accounting system to send out invoices. That is a good thing because it's gonna be seamless. That's gonna be integrated. When I send out invoice from the very same system, when I receive payment, I record the invoice as paid. The accounts are updated automatically. I have had some clients who look for me to do their accounts, but existingly they have a POS system or some other system that they have that they send invoice out. So then therein lies the issue. So then every month, you have to have someone, either a bookkeeper like myself or your staff, to reconcile the transactions, which basically means more work. Try to streamline work process as much as possible, because you us as SME, we should really be focusing our time on revenue generating activities, right? So anyway, there's some basic templates: contemporary, classic, modern. Just play around. You can upload your company logo. All right, so you can upload your logo here, display logo. Just create a color accent to the one that suits your company profile. All right, and then there's some basic settings: title, due upon receipt, okay, default footer. Standard memo is this part is where usually for me is there will be the payment instructions, like are they going to if you have a pay now, you can actually state down your pay now account or your bank account. How should they write the back of the check? Should they indicate the invoice number? So you can actually write down all these things here, so that every invoice that you send out, that there's this payment instructions that are being given to the receiver. Okay, the rest generally I leave them empty. All right, I don't really touch them. You can do a bit of settings here and there, right, and then save, and you're done, right? There's payments also. Okay, yeah, that's where they actually make money. All right, obviously they have to have some revenue stream. So if you're accepting payments via credit card straight, they're linking your bank account into Wave, and then accepting credit card payments using Stripe, then that's where they actually will have a transaction fee every time. But for me, I do not do that. I do not sell anything online. People pay me transferring to my bank account, company's bank account, or via check. So I skip that. So that's why till today I'm still using this for free, right? I'm not sure when they might decide to charge, but for now it's free. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do, either you need to learn how to do it yourself, or you need to engage a professional bookkeeper to help you do, is to set up your chart of accounts. Okay, chart of accounts is the menu items that you will have when you enter in your accounts. Um, so okay, probably I'll just run through with you, then you have a better idea, right? So basically, chart of accounts are the listing down of the individual items, line items of your assets, liabilities, your income, expenses, and of course equity. So example, now I'm on the assets page, right? So I need to ask myself, what are all the assets item will I have, in the process of recording, doing my accounts. So the most common case, cash and bank. So you can see here, by default they only have this cash on hand, which even for myself, I don't really have cash on hand anymore. So but it doesn't have any bank account detail. So you should add this, right? Bare minimum, I would presume that all businesses will have one bank account, company bank account. So you add an account. Account type, you can see here, you can see a few. So I'll just go with cash and bank. Account name, no, let's just say I have a bank account with UOB. So let's just type UOB. For me, usually I will go with UOB, and then I will also state down the currency, because in some cases you might have multi-currency accounts. So you might have a UOB USD, UOB SGD. So it's good to differentiate a bit. And then if you want, you can actually type in your account number as well, right? For clarity's sake. Current account currency, of course, you should choose the relevant currency, which is Singapore currency. Account ID, I'll usually leave this blank, and then description, I'll leave this blank also. But if you want, you can actually put in something to remind yourself if it's get a bit confusing. So all you have to do is save it, right? Then you create this additional. So if you need more, just go ahead, add a new account. You can add OCBC bank account, DBS bank account. The reason why you need to do this upfront is when you go later on, when you start entering transactions, right? You need to categorize the income, the inflow or outflows into the relevant categories. So only if you already have them set up, then you can place the transaction under the specific category. If not, then you have to come back out to the chart of accounts, create one. So might as well get it started right from the onset. Along the way, you might have some additions, but that will come later. But just get the main things set up. So most of the time, this is something that you have to get a account, right? So expected payment from customers, by default they have accounts receivables. You can add more accounts, like sometimes you have specific customers that you want to create a dedicated sub account for them, so you can do so, right? So maybe the customer is called ABC Private Limited, so you can do that, and then next time any payment due from ABC, you can just put it under this ABC sub account. That's what some people do for major customers. And then the accounts receivables will probably be the odd cases. Inventory, if you have, yes, if you're selling certain items, then you should create individual items for the inventory. If not, if you are in the service line, then you can skip this. Property, plant, equipment. So if you own certain property, or in your business you need to have certain machinery, plants. These are assets that are being held over a long period of time. Oh, by the way, if let's say you're not too sure what this is, just click on the question mark, right? So it actually gives a simple explanation. So under here it says things you own but you do not sell to customer as part of normal business operation. So yep, so you can put all this here. Say you own a factory that you bought under your company's account, you can put it here. Maybe you own I don't know, like a big machinery plant that creates spectacles, then you should be putting it under this category as well, right? But do note that whatever that you put here, it should be things that are owned by the company, not by yourself, because some people get confused. They will put their personal vehicles inside the accounts, which is not the right thing to do, right? Depreciation and amortization. So that's where when you have assets, all assets have a fixed life value. So say example, maybe for computers the effective lifetime is deemed to be 3 years. So a computer that costs $900, after 3 years, it will depreciate to zero, or maybe the par value. So that's where you have a depreciation account. So why do you have different accounts? Because let's say under the plant and property, you have 3 different properties. Each of them will have their own depreciation account that is tied into the respective property, so that when you need to dive down deep into the individual accounts, right, it will be able to see the linkage. If you just have one main account called depreciation and amortization, it will be very difficult for you to assign the values to the individual items. So that's why we will separate it. Moving on, liabilities and credit cards. If you have any credit card accounts, company credit card account, edit, loans, basically things that you are owing to others falls under these liabilities and credit cards accounts. So expected payment to vendors. So you have suppliers that you always order things from, and you're on credit. So you actually owe them money, and you have to pay them every certain number of period. You have to account for it over here. So if you have like maybe 3 main vendors, so you should create 3 accounts for each of the separate vendors: vendor A, vendor B, vendor C, so that at any point in time when you look at these accounts, you know that you're owing A how much, you're owing B how much, and owing C how much, rather than lumping everything together. You won't be able to tell, like, who are you owing to, etc, etc. Okay, due for payroll, outstanding payroll to your staff. Okay, due to you and other business owner. So that means yourself, or maybe you have other shareholders. Perhaps you have given a business loan to the entity to get started. You put it over here. Okay, income. So that's where you actually record in your revenues. So under here by default is sales, right? Some businesses might want to further segment their sales income records. Like maybe you are selling 5 different items, you want to track them separately. So that's where you actually add different accounts. Or perhaps like say maybe you are a education tuition center. Maybe you have two different tuition center in different locations. You want to track sales for tuition center A versus tuition center B. That's where you should have two accounts over here so that you will know how much is A making versus how much is B making, so on and so forth. All right. Other incomes, if you derive other income other than your main business activities, usually we'll put it under here. For example, let's say you're in the business of selling spectacles. So all the sales of the spectacles or contact lenses should fall under here. But maybe in your bank account you have $300,000 sitting around which you do not want to leave it idle. So you put it in a fixed account, fixed deposit to earn interest. So every month or every year, the interest that you earn is considered income to your company. So you do not put it under sales because it's not sales. So the only place to put it is under other income. You probably add a new income called interest from deposit or something, and then you just put it in accordingly, right? Or perhaps you maybe under your business you own some rental properties that you're renting out for rental income, which is totally not associated with you selling anything, then you put it under other income as well. All right, gain of foreign exchange. If you are if your business is cross border and you have different currencies, then that's relevant for you. Okay, expenses. There's a whole lot of items here. I think it covers, I would say, 80% of the things that we usually will need for. But if you need to further subcategorize or you need something to be more defined, you can always add in stuff yourself. So you can add new accounts. Yeah, I'll not explain more. You can probably just play around and see what are the things that are lacking. Then you can just add them in accordingly. Okay, cost of goods sold. So that relates to your inventory, right? So basically, when you sell an item for $5 and the cost of the item is $2, that's your cost. So you need to uh, expense that item, and you have to put it under this category called cost of goods sold. When you look at your profit and loss, right, your total sales minus your cost of goods sold will give you your gross profit. Profit before accounting for all these operating expenses. Okay, payment processing fee. If there's any, you accept nets, you accept credit card. There's a fee charge on all these, so that's where you put them here. Payroll expense. Basically, pay that you issue out to yourself, to your staff, right? Everything you put here. So notice that this is geared towards a US Canadian, so it doesn't say things like CPF in Singapore context. But for me, employee benefits, I kind of use this as the CPF that the employee is supposed to pay themselves at 20%. Over here is the 17% the employee is supposed to pay. And then salary and wages is the usual salary and wages that you pay your staff or yourself. So there's three, right? If you need anything more, you can actually put it here. Okay, last but not least, equity. All right. These are two main ones. Common shares, right? When you start off your company, how many shares are issued, paid up shares, how much money is it worth? Usually one share per dollar. All these must be accounted for. You categorize them under common shares. And every year, after you conclude your accounting year, whether you make a profit or you loss, that value will go into your retained earnings. Okay, so that's all for this first video. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. Just create an account on Wave, add the relevant people that you want to manage the accounts together under the settings, and then set up this chart of accounts properly first. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how to go about recording sales and expenses. So I'll see you at the next video. Thanks.